Hey, it's Robin at Fresh Faced Ginger. Get ready with me, 40-year-old edition. If you're in your 40s like me and you're frustrated with the way your makeup looks, it may be time to change some things up. Let me show you my daily routine. Okay, I'm a bit froggy today because for some reason I'm losing my voice, but before I put any makeup on, I always begin with my basic skincare. I talked about that in another video. My daily skincare routine is just cleanser, toner, moisturizer. I do that every single day regardless. If I wasn't going to wear any makeup, I would just leave it at that, but because I'm going to put makeup on, I want to do a little extra prep in certain areas of my face, mostly where I get fine lines, just so my makeup will go on much smoother. So I'm going to use the tallow stick from Clara Fritz. There's a larger stick that is for the face and body, and then the smaller one typically is for the lips, but the ingredients are the same for both. So I want to use the smaller one because I'm going to concentrate on some smaller areas around the face, like my eye. So what I would do is go in here under the eye and around the outside of the eye, just anywhere where I typically have more fine lines and wrinkles on the face. So right in here in the 11s area. I'll also do it right here, the lines around the mouth, just to kind of make sure everything is extra hydrated, and it will make for a much smoother makeup application, and you're less likely to get the creasing throughout the day. So for everyday wear, I do want something a little bit lighter. I don't want like a heavier coverage foundation. So what I'm using today is my tinted tallow moisturizer from Honey Beauty, and this would be just like a tinted moisturizer or tinted sunscreen, that kind of a thing. I don't think this technically is an SPF, but it's just a lighter application of makeup. So you're not going to get a ton of coverage with this, but it'll be enough to just kind of take some of the redness out of my face and give me an overall even complexion. And then I'm just going to blend it in with a makeup sponge. I'm just using a dry makeup sponge for right now because, like I said, this is pretty lightweight. There's not a whole lot of coverage to it. It's just enough for like basic daily wear. If I wanted to shear this out more and make it a little lighter coverage, I would wet the sponge, but I just don't think it's necessary to do that right now because, like I said, this is more of a tinted moisturizer, so it's not going to give me any super heavy coverage as it is. And I'm just going to keep going and keep blending all over the face, and you see how easily and quickly this blends in. There's not a lot to it, and that's what I like, is something that's just simple, that gives me the coverage and color correction I need. And I also apply some under the eyes with my ring finger like this, and just very lightly buff it in with the sponge. Again, just to get some light coverage under and around the eyes. And I'll put this on the top of my eyelid too. I just wanted to show you up close how this looks, that it doesn't look like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. It just kind of makes it look like you have really great skin, and that's what I want in any foundation I'm using. And then I do use a little bit of a setting powder just on a small fluffy brush like this, and I mainly want to set the makeup under my eyes because that's where you get the most movement, is under and around the eyes, and then I'll go on top of the eyelid to just set that in place. But I'm not even using a ton of powder. It is just a very tiny amount to set that makeup and get it to where it won't move or crease throughout the day. Again, I just wanted to show you close up how that looks. You can see there's not a ton of makeup there at all. Just working on the other eye now, and I might also, since it's summertime and I sweat a bit more, there's a couple of places where I get kind of sweaty. I might just put a little of the powder there just to keep everything in place. You can also powder your nose a little bit if you feel like your nose gets super shiny. But the whole point of this is just using a very minimal amount of powder. I don't want to do any heavy powdering or baking or anything like that because my skin is already really dry, and if I put a ton of powder on it like that, that's where it's going to make my makeup look really cakey, and I don't want that look. I want my makeup to look smooth and just look like skin. That's always the goal, is making my makeup look like skin. So then eyeshadow for everyday wear, I just pick two colors. I do one lighter color, one darker color. This is my lighter color right in here. I'm going to cover most of my eyelid with that. And don't worry about getting it super precise right now. We'll blend later. Working on the second eye. This is just a nice pink color called Summer Nights. Like I said, getting it on most of the eye. I'm not really rubbing. You'll notice I'm not rubbing back and forth. I'm just kind of pressing it in to get the color where I want it on my eyelid for now. Okay, now I'm using my darker color, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm pressing this kind of along the outer third, right along the outer corner of the eye, and then kind of blending up over the natural crease. And I know this looks kind of heavy right now. I'm not going to leave it that way. I am going to blend it. But this is just to get the placement where I want it at first, and then I'll try and make sure to blend it later because I don't want it to be super heavy and blotchy. I do want it to have more of a soft smokiness to it. And I'll also put a little bit like under the eyelid like this, just to give it a little definition without having to do like a heavy eyeliner underneath. But then I also want that line to be kind of blurred. And so I'll just take the clean side of the brush and kind of smudge that out a little bit so that it's not super heavy under the eyes. Okay, so now is where we blend. I'm taking a fluffy brush like this that doesn't have any product on it. And I'm just kind of smudging those two colors together, and see how that really softens that up. And you don't have like that dark blotchiness to it anymore. And look at them both side by side. See how that's super soft and it's not like this. You just kind of do that to get it a little more muted, give yourself more of a soft smoky look on the eyes. I filled in my eyebrows. I know I keep saying that I'm going to do a full brow video. I really am. I'm doing that next week. I'm going to show you exactly how I do my eyebrows because I feel like it takes so long. It's hard to do it as a part of another video. It needs its own video. Just trust me on this. I'm coming at you with that soon. So now that eyeshadow and brows are done, this will be the point where you can put a couple of coats of your favorite mascara on. As I've said before, I struggle with mascara because they are very irritating to my eyes. I have to be careful what I use on my eyes. So I've been going for the falsies. I either use brown or black. I use the brown ones most of the time. I think I'm going to put some black ones on today just to change it up a little bit. So I'm putting the glue on the top side of the band. I'm just going to let it dry a little so it gets tacky. I prefer to start at the inner corner, and then I'm just placing it under the lash line like this, kind of adjusting it as needed. Squeeze it in place, and then do the same thing all the way across. Here's what it looks like with one eye done. Just to give myself a little something since I can't wear mascara. I know the whole no eyelash look is trending right now. I don't care. I want it to look like I have something. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or dramatic. Just because you put falsies on, you can wear something that looks much more natural like this. So both eyes done, mascara or lashes to complete the eye look. I think I am going to do a video on how I apply my eyelashes too, just so you get the whole scope of that. Yes, it does seem like a very tedious process, but in my case, I keep them on as long as they will last. So now I'm going to do a bit of contouring. I have a contour stick, and instead of putting it directly on my face, I usually do this, where I'll get some of the product on my hand and then I dip into it like this just to get it like kind of softer on the brush so it's not a harsh line like this. Because the whole point of contour is to create a shadow for the features. So you're going under the cheekbones and just to kind of make them stand out, give your face a little bit of a lift, and then you can go under the jawline right here. Then the whole point is not to leave a harsh line like this. We want to blend that in. You want it to look like more of a shadow, just kind of under the cheekbone to bring out your cheekbones a little more. And like I said, give your face a little bit of a lift. And if you have the double chin thing going like I do, a good place to contour would be right in that area as well, just to kind of minimize that and make it go away a little bit. And then I'm going to use a cream blush instead of a powder. I always use cream blushes because they kind of give your face more of a natural dewy look and a healthier glow, as opposed to the powder that can get a little more chalky. But also because with a cream blush like this, you can also use it as a lipstick. You can either use your fingers to blend it in and just kind of spread it out a little more so that it's not stuck in that one little spot, or use a fluffy brush like this to do the same thing. Just kind of make sure you're blending it in and getting more of a flush look. And I like to put my blush placement a little bit higher. So again, it's kind of giving me a bit of a lift instead of dragging my features down. And then I always do the reverse lip trick where I put my lipstick on first and then clean it up with a lip liner right around the edges. Or sometimes I just use lip liner as my lip color because you can get it really precise. And lip liners will last longer than most lipstick just by itself. So this is the final look. It just brings a little bit of color and life to my face. It's simple and pretty and doesn't take much time at all. Give this a try and let me know how it works for you. And if you have any questions, comment below. And here's a close-up of the finished look.